promoter. So either way, he's getting money to pay the headliner.
Yeah, I mean, that's the problem with it. We just played in Williamsburg. We did an album release thing at this really cool venue called The Hall that's run by this celebrity chef, Michael Salakis. And it's a really beautiful venue. It's also got a great restaurant there. It's a huge place. And, you know, the way we did it is that we said, hey, you know what? We're promoting. It's not really about making money. Let's just, you know, it's free for everybody to get in. You know, we chose who was going to play with us, you know, and we put a bill together that we were comfortable with. And, you know, we just told everybody, hey, you know, bring everybody you want to come. We're not charging anybody. Just come and, you know. Now, obviously, you can't do that all the time, but I just feel like that, you know, that's right. More what it's about. Just have people come in and play. And the reality is the venue makes money at the bar. And that's why I don't like working with these middlemen kind of promoter kind of things, because it's just, they're not really part of the establishment. They're basically making, you know, money off of, you know, the tickets. And it creates a conflict of interest, I think, because you really just want to fill the place, you know, and if a place is full, they're going to sell alcohol, and let's be honest, that's like legalized drug dealing, selling alcohol. I mean, you're making a ton of money.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and
one keg, you could make a ton of money off of one keg of beer, you know?
Right.
And our crowd drinks. So the point is, we feel like, hey, let us get people in the place, give us some good bands, and you're going to make a ton of money at the bar. And, you know, and if you got people in the place, like that's what it's about. That's what a scene is. You know what I mean?
Right. And
in the old days, there were places like the Limelight and the Cat Club, and, you know, they had, you know, you had to pay admission to go in those places. But if you were in the scene, you really didn't, because you get to know people. And these places, they wanted people in there. You know, you don't want empty rooms, you know, because then it's like, wow, that place is lame. So it's kind of a, you know, it all goes hand in hand. It's like a community. You know, the club has to be working with the band has to be working with the promoter, the promoter has to be working with the bar. I mean, everybody's got to be doing their best. And when you had a scene like that, like you had back in the 80s, 90s, it was so much better. But like 90s, you know, that's when you started hearing about that pay-to-play stuff. And luckily, I just never had to deal with it. But it kind of seems almost to be the norm now.
Oh, without a doubt. So, I mean, you do a free show. That's great promotion for you. I mean,
yeah,
that's your CD is being released. You release the version on Reverb Nation or wherever you guys released it. And, you know, you're playing a show. It's getting the name back out there. Now people know you're back to doing what you do. So, you know, next time I won't feel bad paying $10 to get in somewhere.
Exactly. You know, that it's, and that's what it's about. But, you know, everybody's just trying to make a quick buck. And, you know, and look, people used to make a ton of money in the music industry. It totally changed. The industry sort of imploded. And you got a lot of people out there who cobbled together some sort of living feeding off the artists. And, you know, I'm just not a fan of any of those people.
Right. Are you guys planning on doing any touring, or are you going to keep it, you know, locally up there in, you know, New York for now?
I mean, right now that's you know, we're really staying more in the Northeast, but we are talking to some people about doing more than that. So, again, our process, is a little just, you know, more organic right now. It's kind of like taking stuff and digesting it and doing it. You know, we're not a huge band like we were back then. Well, we were never huge. I mean, you know, but we you know, we're on MTV and stuff, so that opens a lot of doors. But, you know, we're just a band like everybody else right now. We're not superstars or anything. And like I said, we're doing it because we like to do it. And as soon as we don't like to do it, we're going to stop. So.
Right. I mean, you guys, I mean, back then, to me, I mean, you guys were popular, so it was kind of huge back then. But, I mean,
yeah,
it's still, to do what you did, not many people can say that either. I mean, there are people that obviously can, but there's a lot of musicians out there who aren't doing 1/10 of what you did back in 1991. So, I mean,
yeah. Well, that was the heyday, and touring when you're in that situation is a lot different because touring is expensive. Bands that tour generally don't make money. And record labels used to give you tour support, which was basically just money for you guys to go on the road and promote the product,
Right.
They knew it wasn't a money-making, and being on the road is a lot of fun, but, nowadays, again, I have lots of friends in bands. A lot of it is like everybody packed into a van, sleeping in the van, sleeping at fans' houses on the floor. And, because gas, hotels, all that stuff, tour buses, that's all expensive stuff,
Yeah.
And very few bands. There's lots of bands. I'm not naming any bands and I'm not putting anybody down, but there are lots of bands out there that are still touring and doing all that. And it's difficult. It's not what it used to be.
Yeah, those are the guys doing all the shows where they're getting the opening acts to pay to play.
Yeah, basically, right. Exactly.
So, because they gotta get their guarantee. I mean, they're still doing their job, but it's not cheap to put gas in a tour bus by any means. So anybody that thinks that it's absurd. But do you guys plan on doing any videos for the new album, or what's going on with that?
Yeah, we were just discussing that as well. So I'm not going to say too much because I don't want to give false information about it. But we definitely are looking at that. We're definitely going to do some playing, and the physical CD itself is coming soon. And like I said, it will be more readily available on things like iTunes and stuff for people to check it out. Right now, we just have the link on through our website because we wanted people to be able to listen to it. But it'll be out there.
Yeah, I mean, I listened to pretty much the whole thing, and you sent me some tracks, which I'm going to play 2 brand new songs right after the interview. So, how many songs did you record for the CD?
So, the album is actually 12 songs. We only have 10 up on through the website, and we basically held 2 songs for the actual CD, so that there was,
a reason to buy it, right?
Yeah, but so we got 12 songs. One of them's a cover of a song that Elvis Presley made popular. It was called "A Little Less Conversation," which was kind of featured in. There was like a remix of it that was featured in the remake of Ocean's 11 a while back. But so we got that on there, and there's another song called "Space Drift," and that's on there that you can't hear yet. But that's on the CD as well.
Cool. So, for the new album, is it all the original members back, or?
No, it basically. So the first album was myself, Aaron, Ethan, Mike, and the Badass Brass. Then we basically all had differences of opinion at that point, and everyone resigned, and I was left with the band. So the second album was myself, Craig LeBlanc, Eric Broden, and Dave Barkow. So then the third album is pretty much the original band, the 3D Monkeys in Space album. The only thing that was different was we didn't have all of the horn players. One horn player was missing. This album is sort of more of a mix. So we have Mike and Aaron and myself from the first album. Chris, who was the sax player on the first album, he's back. And then the second guitar player, Craig, is on the album. And a couple of new horn players. We got Ben Clapp and a guy named Kevin Batchelor on trumpet.
Cool. Is everybody in the band the Mets fan?
You know what? I think so. I'm trying to think. I mean, there may be somebody who isn't, but definitely all the core members. You know, we're from Queens.
Right.
It's funny, actually, on the first album cover, Aaron is wearing a Yankees cap because he used to be a Yankees fan, but then he got in touch with his roots and became a Mets fan.
Yeah.
And it's it's painful being a Mets fan. I mean, there's a glimmer of hope, but Yankees definitely run New York here, but we're all Mets fans.
Yeah, I mean, I used to go to Mets games. I was brought up a Yankees fan, so yeah. I mean, it's hard to be a Mets fan, but you know, some people bust balls about the Yankees that I know are Mets fans on Facebook and shit. So I say crazy shit about the Mets, and then they unfriend me. I'm like, come on, man, it's just it's just a joke.
Mets, the Mets with the Wilpons right now. I mean, that's the main problem, the Wilpons, in my opinion. But I don't hate the Yankees. I mean, I respect the Yankees. It's world class historic organization. But yeah, I'm a Mets fan.
And the Mets aren't.
My whole childhood was at Shea Stadium, going there all the time. So
right. I mean, they're not doing bad this year, so I mean,
yeah. Well, give them time. They still got time.
Right. Wasn't one of the guys just on, I think it was the New York Post. I get that stuff still in my news feed there from Facebook. Wasn't he crying because he thought he got traded?
Well, yeah, they had a trade in place, but for Gomez, and then it turned out he had some hip issues, so they canceled the trade. But because there's so much social media. Like, I forget who leaked it. I think Mike Puma from the Post or something like that. And it was all over, social media. So he was, his buddies in the dugout basically telling him, like, yo, you just got traded, And then while the game was on, the announcers, like Keith Hernandez, is going, well, why are they leaving him out there? This is terrible. Like, if he's not on the team, take him out. But as it turned out, the trade didn't go through, and that's what happened there. So that was kind of a weird, very Mets kind of episode,
And
but
now that's not to get off the topic of the new album, but now he's got to live with that forever, man. He's got to live with that.
Yeah,
forever.
I know. I mean, that's what's crazy. I mean, with social media in general, I mean, anything up there is there forever. I mean, the only thing that sort of helps you is that there's always some new thing going on. So, but yeah, for the next 50 years, people will be like, oh, did you ever see that clip of the guy crying when
right. I mean,
baseball? Now you can't get rid of this stuff. I mean, once it's up there, it's not going anywhere.
Even if he does something good, they're going to be like, remember that guy that cried on the field on the Mets? Well, he just hit a 2-run home. I mean, it's going to be brought up constantly. It's like the guy from Howard Stern, Baba Booey, when he threw the first pitch. I mean, they still talk about it.
You can't, you got to be real careful what you put up on social media. A good rule is not to post stuff when you're drunk or high or angry because sometimes people put stuff up there and they may be upset. Man, it can be funny to other people.
Well, now everybody's got a camera, so you got to watch everything you do anyway. Back in the day, that's another thing that I think hurts the music industry a little bit, is there's too much access almost. It's like there's no mystery to the band. Like when you get the album, you want to see the new pictures of the band and you want to read everything, and there's no mystery left to it anymore. But, I mean, it's time to change, but... I mean, what else can you say?
Yeah, I mean, times change. And, the one thing, I was talking to somebody about this, and, I mean, it sounds a little, like, idealistic and stuff, but, music existed before the music industry, and music will continue to exist if the music industry completely disappears, and, so as a musician, you always have to think about that. Music is like a language, it's like it's international. It's probably cosmic if there are people out there. So, I mean, music isn't going anywhere, and there's never an end to music. It's infinite. But the industry and the publicity and stuff like that, that stuff, has taken a blow.